Welcome to The Fence View. I'm your host, Chris Crockett. We're coming to you from the Brookside Studio at Hancock County Technical Center in Ellsworth, Maine. Joining me today is Brenda Cartwright from Hancock County Towns and Transitions. Before we get started, Brenda, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live in Ellsworth, and I have been here for about 25 years. I live on a blueberry farm with my husband and daughter. I have a dog and 2 cats, and I really enjoy my community.
Ah, nice. Now, a little before we get to the Towns and Transitions, did you have any problem with the blueberry frost recently?
We did not.
Oh, good.
It's actually our off year. It's a biennial crop. It comes twice a year, or twice every other year, and we didn't have a crop this year, so we didn't get damage.
That's great. I'll get back on topic. What is a town in transition?
It's an emerging approach to community sustainability in the face of global changes, and that includes peak oil, climate change, environmental issues that are impacting all of us.
Oh. Are all the towns in Hancock County transition towns?
Well, I'm glad you asked. When we began this initiative, we had some public meetings, and initially it was Ellsworth Transition Town. The groups that came, the people told us we would like to be included too, because we consider Ellsworth to be part of our community. And we want to be included, but we can't all be a transition town. What do you suggest? And so we called it Hancock County Towns in Transition. And so in effect they are. We're doing work with the entire county, and we're going around, to each town and doing work, but people are coming to Ellsworth too to take part in our programs.
Oh, so a town doesn't have to become a transition town in Hancock County. They kind of already are?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
What is the primary, or is the primary focus of the transition towns our dependence on oil?
It's really multifaceted. We think of it more as building a sustainable community, figuring out how to live within our community within our means. It's not really a new idea, but our world has gotten much bigger. With global, we can just go anywhere and do anything. And our idea and effort is to bring the community closer together and to be sustainable and how to work with each other inside our community.
Now, is this a national organization, an international organization, or is it just a Hancock County organization?
It's actually an international organization. It was started in 2005 by Rob Hopkins over in Kinsale, Ireland. And he did it as an experiment, or actually as a project in his college course on permaculture. And they came up with the idea, what would the world look like when peak oil happens? And his students got together and designed this initiative, which turned into transition towns. I just would like you to know there are about 299, almost 300 internationally, including us. We are an official U.S. transition town, and there are about 128, what they call them mullers, and those are towns that are considering, they're in the process of becoming official.
Oh, wow. Now, could you define for me what peak oil means?
Peak oil, there's some conversation about this, and one of the things I love about transition town work is that we don't pretend to be experts. I'm an organizer, I'm a housewife, I'm a mom, but this is what I understand about peak oil. The earth has so much oil. It took millions and millions of years to make it. We're using it at a rapid rate. It isn't that we're going to run out, it's that it's getting harder and harder to get to. I think everybody's keenly aware of the problems in the ocean around Mexico right now, and it's not an endless supply. It will be harder and harder to get to, and if we do not reconsider how we're using that resource, it's just becoming problematic. It's going to cost more, and it will be less available to more people. Population in India and also in China, their effort is to become more like the United States. It's not sustainable. And we're talking about trying to teach and educate people about being sustainable in their community. So if we can get people to understand what the issue is with peak oil, then we feel like everybody will jump on board.
Now, do you consider yourself an environmentalist?
No, I don't, actually. I consider myself an advocate, and I consider myself an advocate for my community and my state and my country and my planet.
Finally, what's the first thing you'd like people to think of when they hear Towns in Transition?
That's a great question, Chris, and it's one that I have given a lot of thought to. We started the steering committee about a year ago, and the Towns in Transition kind of give you a framework of how to work. But we got together in living rooms and just talked about what do we want for our community. And that's what I'd like people to think about, wherever they live. It doesn't matter if it's Ellsworth or Los Angeles. What do you want your community to be like? And again, sustainable and something that we're proud of and something that we can actually live with no matter what happens. You think about Katrina, you think about the ice storm that we experienced almost 12 years ago. I personally was without electricity for 6 weeks. What would that be like if that was true for the entire community of Hancock County? And I want people to think about that, and I want them to think about how we can work together and be together. Hancock County Towns in Transition is an inclusive group, and the thing that I love, I think the most of it, and I would like people to remember this, is that the idea is to gather together and unleash the collective genius. We have the answers, and the Transition Town movement gives this a forum to answer these questions and work together as a community.
Well, thank you, Brenda. It was nice to have you, and thank you for joining us on The Fence View, coming to you from the Brookside Studio in Hancock County Technical Center in Ellsworth, Maine. Thank you. Have a good day.